Hey, marketing friends, Andrew Walton here. Hope you're having a spectacular day, and if you're not, I hope this video will help. I'm going to take a look at one of my favorite e-commerce homepages and sort of break it down for you. So if you have an e-commerce business and you're looking to increase the amount of orders that you're getting from people that visit your website, well, this video should help. So one important thing to note about home pages, pretty much all home pages, including e-commerce home pages, is that because you have to account for all different traffic sources, all different parts of your sales funnel, that is stages of awareness of your audience, cold traffic, warm traffic, hot traffic, etc., your homepage generally has to be designed so people can self-select. That is, so any given visitor can quickly find the right page for them. So if it's someone who has never been to your site before, so they can quickly find out who you are, what you're about, and what action they should take next. If it's hot traffic, so they can quickly find the products that they are looking for. Contrast that with, say, a landing page where you want people to take one specific action, such as signing up for your lead magnet, and no other action. And therefore, on that sort of page, you have a very linear and restricted flow of possible actions, whereas on a home page such as this, you have a lot of possible actions. So with that being said, one of the biggest challenges about home pages is that you have to prioritize those actions and still account for that entire funnel. So this page, I think, does an excellent job of this, and I want to explain why and how you can apply these principles in your own business. So let's start by looking at the header section here. And one thing I really like about this particular header is that they've prioritized the highest value actions on pretty much any e-commerce site. We know from a ton of data analysis, if you want confirmation for this, you can look at some of Ezra Firestone's stuff at Smart Marketer, or essentially there's so many places where you can find this data. My own experience sort of confirms this, that search is essentially the highest value single thing that you can have on an e-commerce site. If you don't have an e-commerce site, that often changes, but on an e-commerce site, we know that even if, say, around 5% of your visitors actually use the search bar, people who use search are going to account for anywhere from 20 to maybe even 40% of your actual revenues. Therefore, search has a disproportionately high amount of conversion relative to use, and therefore putting it right here beside the logo is a really smart move. The next highest value action to visitors higher up in the funnel is to generate leads. So having a lead magnet offer here, let's click on this. And my mistake, make that an offer to generate customers. Actually, if we go down here, you can see that they have three different offers, and they have presumably tested this and know that this is probably, I would imagine, that this is either their best performing product or one of them. That is, that they know their audience is interested in this particular offer, and it's presumably a great way for them to generate new business. So with that offer of 40% off, it's a good way to turn probably non-customers into new customers. Here is a lead magnet offer, joining the BeeFriendly club right here. So right up at the top of the nav bar, we have search. We know it's one of the highest value things that you can have on an e-commerce site. A way to generate new customers with a really great offer, towing the line of even irresistible offer. 40% off is awesome. You don't see that very often. And an email opt-in option. So that's already extremely powerful. Now, I'm not going to go deep into every element. I think that the free shipping makes sense. If you have it, great, put it here. The toll-free bit is great for if you have a phone number, it immediately generates or creates more trust in your audience. There's not really a lot more I want to say about these elements. Likewise with the nav bar, I don't want to say a lot. I want to focus on other elements of this, but the nav bar is nice and clean. That is, there aren't 20 different things to choose from. There are just really high value things to choose from. So shop, obviously that's valuable. Why buy from us? This will help them overcome any objections or any doubts that someone might have of doing business with this particular company. And we know that the About Us page is one of the most looked for and visited pages in most nav bars. This usually gets a lot of action, but it's not as high value as, say, these two items, therefore pushing it down towards the end makes sense. And really, contact us, FAQ, it's all pretty logical. So let's contrast this. I mean, you'll probably see on certain sites that where you have different drop downs and you have like 20 or 30 different things to choose from, or even 10, 15 things to choose from. That just makes it more difficult on the user. Generally, the more choice you have, the less action you're likely to take. So this, I think, is a pretty good approach, as I imagine that the highest value action they're getting for people who aren't clicking on one of these options is actually getting people into the store. So that's what the focus of this is. It's the first nav menu outside the home page and the first nav menu item. And as you can see here, well, that's the very next thing that they're putting, or the very first thing they're putting in the actual body of the page, getting people to shop on the store, a fake button within the image that's drawing attention and getting people probably to click here. This is awesome. I think if I was starting an e-commerce store from scratch, this is probably the very first thing I'd do. In the very top section, get people into the store. Let's see. One other thing that I like, even though I am a copywriter and words are the thing that I do, I like that they've kept the text short here. They're letting the images do most of the work here. They're doing most of the heavy lifting, and they're just giving a sort of minimum required amount of information to give people context, to give people a reason to take action or a reason to explore more. As you'll probably notice, the copy here, I mean, it's okay, but it's nothing special. It's pretty straightforward stuff that anyone could say and that you could probably come up with relatively quickly. So one thing that I would encourage you to think about when you're creating your own pages, whether you have an e-commerce business or any other type of business, whether it's your homepage or any other page, is think of the strategic structure before you ever think about word choice. The magic is not in any of these words or any of these words. Shop our store, browse products. There's nothing clever, there's nothing special about any of this. The special thing about all of this is the structure and making it easy for people to take the actions that are the most valuable to the business. So from that perspective, what you're doing first is peeling off all the people who are already interested in shopping. They come to this section. All the people who aren't convinced yet to shop, now you give them a little bit of information, just a little bit. And really, all this text is doing, smart people are choosing organic products, etc., etc. We're not only supporting the world, we're giving our bodies the benefits that nature intended it to get. In my mind, the entire purpose of this is to get the visitor to agree with a statement, to think, oh yeah, this is something that's important to me, and therefore prompt them to do some more exploring of the website. It's like if I, as the visitor, agree with these values, then I'm more likely to check something out. And now here's another section that I really like where you're letting the audience who hasn't taken action here, they haven't shopped the store in a general sense where you don't have any specificity. It's just, okay, let's shop. You peel off sort of the top layer, the most interested people. Now you get more specific. Now you're letting people self-select in terms of what their specific interest is, face and eye, these serums, and these body creams. And now we get even more specific. So if you don't take action here, now we're going from categories of products down to specific products. Now, how would you choose what categories to use and what products to use? That would be hopefully a combination of surveying and interviewing your audience and looking at your own analytics data. So presumably, BeeFriendly Skincare knows that these products are either the most likely to generate new business for them or the most likely to generate the biggest tickets, the biggest sale prices for them, and then you can select these based on what your actual goals are. For some businesses, it might be generating new clients. For other businesses, it might be maximizing the ticket per sale. So that is something that you have to choose based on context, and that can be the same for all of this. This might be a top revenue generator. It might be one of the best to generate new customers. It might be an overlap of the two. But all of this can be borne out and figured out through testing and through, again, surveying your audience. And this section, I imagine, does the exact same thing. You have different categories that are presumably and very likely the most important to this particular audience. So we sort of come to an important point here. Depending on the number of products you have, the different categories of products that you have, I'm not saying that this is the exact way that you need to set up your page. There is no one ideal way to set up a homepage. The world is too complicated for that, and audiences are too different one from another for something like that. The overall logic of this page, where you peel off the top layer, the most interested people, you get a little bit more specific, you get a little bit more specific here, I think this is logic that anyone can apply to their own e-commerce homepage. And after that, it really depends on what you're trying to do with your business and your audience. So before you go and think that this is the best e-commerce homepage, or someone tells you that this specific template is the best template, you have to ask yourself the best for what and the best under what circumstances. So I hope that that is helpful. And that sort of brings us to something like this. This is where context is really important. If you're in, say, a health space, a skincare, cosmetics, that sort of thing, something like this makes a lot of sense. If you have a lifestyle brand, something like this might also make a lot of sense. If you are selling power tools or vacuums, this probably does not make a lot of sense, right? It's like, yeah, I'm going to take a picture with my new drill and show everyone the new birdhouse I created. It's probably not the right thing to do at this point, but this is an idea that you should at the very least have in your back pocket and be open to testing depending on what your audience is. And something like this section is also, I would say, also should depend on what sort of industry you're in. In a lot of spaces, I would probably combine these two videos. But I will admit that there's one very big and interesting advantage of this is why buy from us? You're going to get people who are interested in buying something, but they have some sort of reservation. So if I'm going to look at this, I probably have a higher intent to buy than someone who's going to watch the hello message. So in that sense, there's definitely an advantage to keeping these videos separate. However, if you wanted to shoot one sort of about us video, you could essentially say hello and share why people should buy from you. Now, if I was going to do a single video instead of two, I would also make the title be more compelling and not just be something like hello from your brand, but something closer to talking about why we're so awesome. In any case, I think the important thing here is once you've gone through all these sections, you've given people a lot of different options to get into your store. If they haven't done that, having a video is a really great idea because video gets a ton of engagement, and Ezra Firestone has some nice statistics that show that people who watch video are more likely to buy than people who don't watch video. I can't tell you why that is. All I know is that in my own experience, that seems to be true. Video seems to convert really, really well. So if someone has said, no, I'm not interested in this, no, I'm not interested in this, etc., but they're still on your page, giving them the option to engage with your brand here gives you essentially more opportunity to capture their attention, capture their interest, and convince them to either scroll up and take action or continue down the page and take action. So really, in this day and age, video isn't an option. Video is something that you pretty much have to be doing or should be doing, because I can promise you that if you are not doing it, your competitors will be doing it, and they will be capturing the people who are interested in watching video. So that is something that I would definitely include in my page. And then this is very logical: proof, testimonials, and happy customer images again. If you are selling power tools, if you're selling vacuum cleaners, this might not be the best thing, but if you're in a health and fitness space, if you're in cosmetics, this makes a lot of sense. And finally, a really nice clean footer, another call to action. So again, if you've scrolled all the way down, you're getting one final option to get people to subscribe. And of course, nice little search bar at the end. Probably the stuff at the bottom of the page doesn't get as much action, but you are maximizing your chances of getting some action by having both the opt-in and the search bar here and here respectively. So one thing I want to draw your attention to on this page is that if we're not including the testimonials, and actually I think that the testimonials here would be better if you actually showed an image of the person. So when you're doing your own testimonials, show an image of the results that people are getting. That tends to perform best. But with that said, if you look at this page, there's almost no copy, right? It's all images. The images are doing all of the work, and you don't have to say a whole heck of a lot to have a really nice and really well-performing homepage for your e-commerce store. So when you're building your own homepage or really any page, again, I want to emphasize that the first thing you need to think of is the structure. And one technique that I use to help me figure out what sort of structure I should use or what sort of structure I should test if I'm not sure is to ask myself, if I didn't take action, say I'm up here at the top of the page, I see this, if I didn't take action in this section, what's the next logical thing for me to see? Why didn't I take action, and what is the most logical thing to show your visitor or show me or show you in order to get that action? So if I'm thinking about this section, well, this is a general, there's no specificity here. So if I'm not already interested in shopping, I can ask myself, okay, if this person wasn't interested in shopping, what do they have to see in order to get into my store? Well, this text does a part of that, and specific categories also does part of that. And then, okay, if my visitor doesn't get into one of these specific categories, what's the next logical thing to show them? Well, maybe specific products. And you can really use this logic. Doesn't matter if it's e-commerce, if you're selling info products, or if you're selling consulting or a SaaS program. If you have a SaaS program and up here you have your main offer, so you're Slack and you're trying to get people signing up for free. Well, if they don't do that, then you can ask yourself that same question. If I wasn't ready to sign up, what do I have to see in order to take the next most valuable action, to either sign up or do the next most valuable thing? You can do that on your homepage, you can do that on any page, and it applies to whatever type of business you're in. So I hope that was interesting. I hope that was valuable. Please, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below this video. I'd be more than happy to get back to you. And if you'd like some feedback on your own website, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find me on Facebook at my Facebook group Crushing Conversion, or if you're watching this, you're probably already my friend, but this is Andrew Walton with Crushing Conversion. I hope to hear your success story soon, and I'll see you in another video soon.